So let's talk about waste. With the lean manufacturing processes, what we're really looking for is to remove waste in the manufacturing process. The number one waste that can happen is overproduction. So overproduction is when we produce more than is actually required. Um, the reason that this is a huge waste is because uh, we're producing product that is it's tying up other equipment and prohibits the smooth flow of product through the factory. What we want to do is to move towards the Toyota production system, which is also known as just in time, because every item is made just as we need it. Now, the second thing that often comes from overproduction is waiting. So whenever we have products that are in process that are waiting to be used by or to use a process or a person or to use the next operation, um, that's just money sitting idle. We can't sell it, we can't improve it. All we're doing is, you know, it's not available for sale. So a lot of times in companies, 99% of the product is just sitting there in a batch and queue method. So what we want to do is work on having a continuous flow. The other issue that comes up quite often is transportation and transporting product. So if we have to go get a forklift to move the product, or if it's sitting just waiting to be moved from one workstation to the next, this is extremely poor. The best way to attack this is to get a drawing of your facility and actually show where the product is moving as it's being worked. If it's not moving in a straight line or in a U or a circle, there's a good chance that you have excess transportation time. Inappropriate processing, using the wrong equipment or the wrong process to perform a function. Some people might call this using a sledgehammer to crack a nut. Um, sometimes we use very expensive, high precision equipment where simpler tools could be used. So you want to watch, because we've probably got product that are waiting to be used or to have a chance to get on to that high precision equipment. Unnecessary inventory. A lot of times we have work in progress, WIP that happens because of a couple things I already mentioned, overproduction and waiting. But the more WIP we have on the floor, the more delays and finding problems, makes it difficult for communication, makes it difficult to move the product around, takes up space, and we end up building buildings and renting additional space when we really don't need it. The next thing is unnecessary or excess motion. We look at waste, and sometimes it's an ergonomics study, whether people are bending, stretching, lifting, having to reach for items. We want to reduce that as much as possible. And the last thing I'm going to talk about right now are defects. Defects have a direct impact on the bottom line. Quality defects that result in rework and scrap are a tremendous cost to the organization. So when we have defects and scrap, we end up doing things like quarantining that inventory and placing it somewhere We've got to do re-inspection. There is rescheduling that occurs, and worse, we've lost some capacity. So, you know, what I have done is when I've identified that there is scrap in a manufacturing process, I look to see what I can do to reduce it in half. One time we started with $1 million that went through scrap and rework. With some focus, we were able to reduce it to 500,000 the next year. Year after that, we got it down to 250,000. Ultimately, we got it down into less than $20,000 with focus. This was all money that became available to be reinvested back into the company. And in some cases, during those years, we took some of those funds that we saved from the production floor and actually gave out that money as small bonuses to employees who had participated in that effort. So what we want to do is in Lean is to remove all these processes that contribute to waste. And if you follow these 7 that I've just outlined, you'll help to remove waste in manufacturing.